It all started on a Friday afternoon. I'd been watching a few videos of people play DuckTales on the NES and decided to go pick up my own copy. So I headed to my local game exchange. I wonder if I can find a copy here, I thought to myself as I went inside. Usually the games were at the back, and as I was scrolling through the collection of games, I noticed there was a copy of the game left. "Can someone help me?" I asked. A staff member came up and unlocked the cabinet containing the games, handing the copy to me. As I looked at the game, I noticed something odd. The cover sticker was ripped and marked with what appeared to be red marker, and Scrooge's face was missing. The copy must have belonged to some kids, I guessed, as I paid $10 for it and went home. Once I got home, I was so excited that I finally had my own copy of DuckTales that I could play, and I popped it into my NES and began to play. The title screen popped up as normal, with the selection options for easy, normal and hard. I decided to choose normal first, but as soon as I selected it, the screen went back and returned to the title screen. "What the hell?" I asked myself. I selected easy and hard out of curiosity, and the exact same thing happened. "What's going on?" I thought to myself. I decided to pull a cartridge out and blow into it before inserting it back into the console, and that's when things got weirder. Once the title screen appeared again, the background music wasn't playing, and Scrooge's eyes were looking to the left instead of usually looking straight at the screen. What the blazes is he looking at? I thought. I pressed a few buttons and then the D-pad, causing the arrow, which usually highlighted each difficulty option, to fly far off the screen. Where did it go? I thought. I hit every button to try and press on, and then hit the A button, which caused the screen to turn to a dark red colour before then changing to black. Once the screen came back, Scrooge was standing on top of the money box, and the background music wasn't playing. This is really weird, I thought to myself. I was thinking on returning it, but curiosity got the better of me. Scrooge's money meter was 9999999 and so on and so forth, and the time was stuck at 999, but didn't seem to move. I made Scrooge jump off the pillar as the camera followed him to the floor. I then decided to walk where the mirror was and made him enter it, causing him to be teleported to the room with a false wall. I walked past it and jumped down a hole, trying to progress back to the beginning of the level. As I did so, I noticed there were no enemies but the duck skeletons laying on the floor of the stage, which remained like they did in the main game. I got to a coffin, but instead of it having rip on it, it had a red bloody arrow pointing left. At this point I was more curious, so I went left and saw the mirror that would usually take you to Skull Key. I made Scrooge run through it, causing the usual teleport noise to play as before, but then the screen seemingly changed to an array of various different colours. Red, blue, black, the works. What the hell is going on with this game, I asked. It then loaded the Amazon stage. Everything was obscene and twisted. The sky was black, the rocks were red, and the ground was blue. The Venus flytraps didn't attack, and looked all distorted and messed up. Is the game bugging out? I then noticed Scrooge's eyes were pale and exhausted. There was no sound effects, and while I tried to use his pogo attack, it only went halfway than it usually did. When I got to an area of the stage where there usually was a rope to climb, instead it wasn't there, and there was a pit and a sign with an arrow pointing down. So I made Scrooge jump down into the pit, and the game teleported me to another stage. The music started up again once I got halfway through the stage, but only the first few notes on loop, with the last one being drawn out like a low scream like in the Dark Castle on the Sega Genesis. When I got to an area, there was another pit, and I noticed one of Scrooge's nephews were there, so I made him walk over and press A. The message he gave was weird. Money, even with it you cannot escape death. No matter what you do, no matter how much you gain, in the end we go the same way, dead and forgotten. That was really dark, I thought. Then the game glitched out and I was on the moon stage. The ground was blood red and the sky was pitch black, but the music not sounding right, as if it was skipping, going from loud to quiet, and the ropes to the ship were gone. I wondered if I fell into a hole, and I did just that, but what happened was Scrooge was just standing on an invisible platform covering the hole. Then I got to an area where you'd normally climb a rope to get to the boss of the level, but I noticed two more of Scrooge's nephews standing in front of another pit, both on each side and facing their uncle, but I noticed one was looking at him while the other was looking straight at the screen. I approached like before and pressed A, but there was no text box like before, so I jumped into the hole, and when I did, the screen went black. I scrolled right slowly and the screen faded in, and to my surprise, Scrooge now had no arms or pupils, with his eyes now being white. After my horror, I decided to go right some more, and as I did so, I saw each of the bosses unmoving, all facing right, and after a moment of more scrolling, Scrooge approached a coffin. I got close to it and pressed A, to which another text box appeared. We live, we learn. For what purpose? To die? That seems to be the way of life, and so you will die and be forgotten like a memory. Scrooge's health bar disappeared and he was knocked into the coffin, with the last frame before fading to black being an animation of him banging against it, appearing to be buried alive, before the screen faded to black and the same text from before appeared. No matter what you do, no matter what you earn, you will die. There is no escape. The game then froze up, and from there, and I destroyed the game cartridge as soon as it concluded at that part. But even then, ever since that day, what it said stuck in my mind. We all go the same way.